Hi, today's a little bit of a different video, and the topic really isn't transgender issues, although maybe I'll touch on that a little bit. The main topic of today is that I've I have a lot of issues with social anxiety, with just general anxiety and sort of depression for many, many years, even before I transitioned. I think a lot of that was due to the fact that I was trans and closeted, of course, and until recently I kind of just assumed that that was the entire reason that that I was feeling this social anxiety. But in fact, I've been looking around and looking around for all these different conditions and stuff, and it dawned on me that I should check out high functioning autism or Asperger Syndrome. And as I started looking through all of the different things that um, I found this huge chart of all of these symptoms and things, and I took a few online tests, and I scored very high for all of them. And a lot of the descriptions of the symptoms of autism fit me like exactly, and it really started to make me understand some parts of my life. For example, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I really didn't know how to relate to people that well. And so I would imitate other people that who I saw who were fairly good at functioning socially. So one example of that was I had a friend in Shanghai who was really nice to me, and I didn't live in Shanghai. I used to visit there sometimes. And he was really nice to me, and we always hung out, and sometimes he'd have other friends over, or we'd go out and we'd meet people, and I saw how successful he was relatively socially, and and I would and so when I left Shanghai and came home, I would imitate his behaviors. I would imitate how he spoke with people and all of this sort of thing. And and I felt like, and that's exactly kind of what's described in the symptoms, is being a chameleon. So I think that I for a lot of my life, I haven't really understood how to, I don't think I've ever really understood properly, as normal people do, how to relate to other people. And so when I'm relating to people, I'm almost always wearing a mask, kind of. And and that's not the only thing. There's like I find it hard, like I was really slow to develop with like brushing my teeth and combing my hair, and a lot of these really simple things, which it's very compounded and very complex in me, because I was also a victim of childhood abuse for many years. So I used to think that it was like a developmental disorder that was the result of child abuse, and now I think it's that I already had a developmental disorder, and the child abuse made it even worse and also disguised it. And then, of course, being transgender as well, that also put a whole nother layer of stuff on it, because people who have Asperger's quite often have social anxiety. And through going to live in Asia, and well, this is another thing. When I went to live in China, and I know this is really scattered brain talk, but I just kind of want to make this video. When I went to live in China, the people who I was relating with in Chinese, they knew that I was speaking Chinese as a second language, and they knew that I wasn't a member of their culture. So if I was acting a little bit strange around them because I have Asperger's or autism to some mild degree, they would write it off as it's a cultural misunderstanding, or it's a language barrier thing, and they wouldn't feel off-put by it. And because of this, I think that I started to like Chinese culture and liked relating with Chinese people much more than with people who speak English as a first language very well. But it's not only that, it's also the cultural thing, because I made some very good friendships with some Chinese people who do speak English very well, and I think that was just that they were a bit more open to me being different. And that's a combination of, I think, they say on the one hand it's cultural differences, and on the other hand I think perhaps Chinese culture is more um, is more accepting of people who have Asperger's or mild autism than say in Western culture. Um, but in any case, that was a really interesting self realization that I've had over the past few days. Um, and Also, it was quite interesting to see that the symptoms in men and women are quite a bit different, and in some aspects, and that's because women are generally better at socializing. And I think that as a trans woman, I sort of instinctively was a little bit better at socializing, so I had this like chameleon-like behavior that's more common in women, but as living as a man. And so now that I've been doing this transition of genders and a social transition myself, um, for all trans people, you have to learn how to act differently in social situations and this kind of stuff because you've grown up as a different gender than what you are. Um, but I think for me it's even worse because I learned all of these coping mechanisms and all of these ways of relating to people that now don't really work that well because I was imitating my male friends. And so when it comes to um, relating to relating to people as a woman, it's difficult and it's very stressful for me, and I have all of that anxiety plus the normal social anxiety of a lot of people with autism that think people are watching them and judging them and they're making social blunders all the time, which sometimes we are. And then I have normal trans anxiety, which is like passing issues and people looking at you because you're trans and all that stuff. So, oh my god, like I just have a lot of stuff to deal with right now. But on the other hand, I'm going to speak with my therapist about this, and if I can have my autism diagnosis confirmed, then like at least I'll know where to start. Is the thing. I'm I've known for so long that there's something wrong with me, other than being trans, I guess. But I just couldn't put a finger on it. What is wrong with me? Is it this? Is it this? Is this? Is it that? And um, I might just be jumping the gun here. Like before, I've thought like, oh, I definitely have this or that, and it hasn't been the case. But in the case of this autism thing, this Asperger's, I really think that that's what I have. Um, I'm like quite sure looking at all the different things and stuff. So I'm gonna like delve into some online communities and all this kind of stuff, and just see. But yeah, it'll be quite interesting. And if I find out that that's what is wrong with me, then at least I can go about looking at ways that I can cope with it and deal with it and this kind of thing, other than just being confused about life all the time. Because honestly, like I've just been like sometimes I just get so confused. Like why can't I relate to people socially, and like why do I like always make these like strange social blunders? Like a big one that I make is like speaking too much, and like when I'm making a YouTube video, obviously like I just speak to the camera, so it's no problem. But if you're like having a conversation with me, you might find that like I'm speaking way too much and not giving like the other person enough time to speak, or I'm speaking too much about certain narrow subjects, or I'm trying to control the conversation, and it can be really annoying for other people. And and also like the eye contact thing. Like when I'm making videos, I've learned to like look at the camera and like like it's fine. Like when it's not a person, it's a camera, I can look at it and it's like not really a big deal. But if it's a person, unless I know the person really, really well, I have a really hard time looking at them because I feel like they're judging me, or like, oh, am I looking at this person wrong? Or like when I'm looking someone in the eye, like, did I look at them too long? Like, how long am I supposed to look at them before it's like too long? Or um, like, do I look away now? Does it seem rude if I look away? So how am I supposed? So I get so confused when I'm trying to look people in the eye and stuff like that, and that's really like, from what I've seen anyway, it's like classic signs of autism. So yeah, that's what I have to say about autism, and I will update and let you guys know if that is indeed what is wrong with me. Okay. Bye.